What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming news conversation for this week. I'm one of your hosts this evening, Nikki Two Shoes, Nikki Often. Alongside me, we got Connor. Connor, how's it going, bro?
I'm doing all right. A little bit under the weather. We're going to see how this goes, but I'm excited to be here talking about the Game Awards with you. I just want to let you know that when you do your little intro and you say, whoa, like I only get the first half a second because it cuts out after that because it gets too loud.
Yeah, Discord has a gate on this thing, but OBS does not, and that's the most important part. Basically, by the way, I want to get on the front end of this. This is Grading the Game Awards episode. We are subsiding every other piece of gaming news that happened throughout the week. Obviously, a lot of the news was just like rumor stuff anyways. But yeah, we are not going to be breaking down anything else except for the Game Awards. So get excited. We're going to be talking about basically every single game, what was here, what was not here. There's a lot that we have to break down. It's going to be a lot of fun. But you want to know what I want to talk about in this pre-show just for a moment, because we've not been able to talk about it nearly enough. Philip Rivers. I've thought about this every single day. Connor, we have a elite matchup this weekend between Drake May and Josh Allen, and I'm totally just like, who gives a rat's ass about that? It is all about seeing grandfather Philip Rivers stepping out onto the field. He, by the way, could have been in the Hall of Fame literally this year. Like, that is how long he's been out of the league. That is insanity. So we're going to get to go and watch that. It's brought a major smile to my face. And yeah, it has been the thing that has pulled me away from Silk Song this week and from the Game Awards, because that's what this whole week has been about.
Yeah, this really should not be happening, but I'd be damned if I'm not excited to see how it goes. I'm very curious. What if he goes out there and just absolutely slings it, dude? It is like amazing.
He's got the Seahawks defense coming in. By the way, top 5 defense in basically every metric.
Slices and dices them, dude. The way only Philip Rivers could.
I want to see some classic Philip Rivers to Antonio Gates out there with Tyler Warren. Can you imagine Tyler Warren like growing up? The last time that Philip Rivers was like dominating, Tyler Warren was like 3 years old. And now he's going to be catching balls from one of the greatest quarterback to tight end connections ever. It's going to be awesome. Cannot wait for that.
It would be like a movie if they made the playoffs and then went on a run and won a Super Bowl or something. I've always really liked Philip Rivers and wanted him to get more respect. And I think the thing that was holding him back was not having a Super Bowl. Like, I think that would have put like a great stamp on his resume for his NFL career.
For sure. And I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, it is legitimately asinine that this is happening. This sounds like if somebody was like legitimately script writing the NFL, they'd be like, yeah, bring Philip Rivers back. And they'd be like, that's a ridiculous idea. Like, there's 25-year-olds that are 280 pounds running full tilt at a 44-year-old man who hasn't played ball in 5 years. One of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to be one of the greatest stories we ever have in NFL history if he goes out there and dominates, or we are going to see an older fella take an absolute beating, throw 3 picks, and have Jonathan Taylor then rush 78,000 times.
He's got 10 kids. He just wants to get out of the house, honestly. This is one way to do it.
I could imagine he gets the phone call. He's in bed. He's next to his wife, and she's like, hey, who's that? Was that family or something? He's like, I'm going back to the NFL. What? Like, could you, like, that interaction has to be nuts. And then you got to imagine that all of his kids are like, there's got to be some of them that hadn't seen him play ball, right? And now are super in and super excited. So that's cool and exciting for that family. But it's just been on my mind as I'm getting killed over and over and over again in the high halls of Silk Song, and just wanting to throw my controller through the TV. I did not play any of it today. I wanted to have, a good mental health chill day after a long week, and there's nothing that would be more stressful than going back to the high halls of Silk Song. One day I will beat this game. I will say I'm going to.
So good. Like, I understand that it's really hard, but I also think that's the best fight in the fucking game.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It was so fun learning those patterns and getting a little bit further every single time. And then everything that was giving me a hard time in those first few tries, I was just fucking absolutely dominating as I went further and further with my runs or whatever. So, like, yeah, I absolutely adored that section of the game. I understand that it's difficult, though.
Yeah, it's tough. But you want to know what is my favorite part of this show? Sometimes it's housekeeping. We can get this show out to you 3 days early over on patreon.com/Cope64. 3 days early for Casual Gaming Conversation. And you get a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation each and every week. Connor and I will be beginning the breakdown of each major console manufacturer for the last three bonus pods of this year. We will be grading PlayStation's year, we'll be grading Nintendo's year, and we'll be grading Xbox's year. The games, the new stories, the price increases, the new studios, all that will be broken down on bonus pod for the next couple of weeks as we close out this year. It's going to be a great time. Also, there's an amazing backlog of many spoiler casts, many in-depth conversations about video games, trophy talk, just any like weird conversation too that we can have that we think of. We put it over there, and it's a great time. You should definitely go over there. That's at the $5 level. For a cup of coffee, you get basically 50 hours of bonus content. It's great. At the $10 level, you can get Recollection Retro, Connor's Retro Collecting Show, and the Co-op 64 podcast, or conversational podcast, or exclusive TikToks each and every single week. Just a little update for you. You got the Co-op Pod last week. You're getting Recollecting this week, and then we will be back on track with Co-op Pod next up. Sorry about the scheduling issues that happened there. Totally just got lost in the sauce on that, but that we will be back on track after that co-op pod. It will then be exclusive talks, then Recollect and Retro, and then so on and so forth. At the highest tier, you can go and get your name read at the end of each and every podcast. Thank you so much if you support at that tier. It really does mean the world to us. And you can write in to be the fourth topic on the Co-op 64 podcast. Twitch streams. We are back to a normal streaming schedule after a banana streaming schedule of a week with the Game Awards. Monday will be back to Cyberpunk, going back to Night City. It most likely will be a Nick at Night in Night City sort of session for some late hour streaming on Monday. Tuesdays and Thursdays, back to 7 to 10. I will be playing Final Fantasy X. I think I need to grind a little bit more if I'm going to beat this fight for the first couple hours of stream. And so we'll see how that all breaks down. I was one move away, Connor. I was one move away. And then Connor will be playing something on Wednesday. We do not know yet. Do you have an idea or yep, I did not think so. We will figure that out probably by CGC this week, and it will obviously be on the Discord schedule when we go and drop that. Also, if you're watching this over on Patreon, we do have Community Night this week. It's Halo Community Night on Sunday night. If you're watching this on Monday, join the Discord so you can be part of the next Community Night in January. Discord, speaking of join the Discord. An amazing community, so much fun. Today and yesterday, everyone getting excited about the Game Awards, everybody suiting and booting, having a great time in the voice channels, watching, reacting, hanging out during the Game Awards. It's an absolute blast. You can also talk about football with us. You can talk about games with us. And we're learning really fast that next year is going to be a banging year in games. So you're going to want to go and have someone to talk about games with. Join the Discord to do so. Also, you can write in for forums and rating your top fives and any of the trivia that we do that need write-ins for. You can do it over there to be part of the content. It's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for joining over there. Merch, co-op64store.com. It is at the point of the year. By the way, if you order something from the store, it will not come till after Christmas. Just a heads up there. Review us over on Apple Podcasts and then hop in the comment section down below if we mess something up. So on the next episode, we can set the record straight. Oh, man, we are here, we are live, and we are doing it. Headline, the Game Awards 2025, all the biggest announcements. This is Jason Finelli over at GameSpot. Jason did a great comprehensive write-up. I highly recommend going over and seeing every single thing that he went and wrote about. We will be pulling certain descriptions potentially if we do not know what the game is, and we want to let you guys know. There's a couple of those titles that got skipped over that you might be like, wait, what was this? What was that? We'll bring in the descriptions necessary for those titles from Jason's writing, and we will quote him when it makes sense. But before we get into every single game, before we get into all the goodness that was not there, before we get into why Aerith is on Connor's lap right now, I have to ask Connor, what would you grade the Game Awards 2025?
As the dust has settled and the bad taste of that last announcement has left my mouth, I think I've come around on it being a 7 out of 10. When I look at all the games that were here, there's a lot of great, some really hype announcements, and then interspersed in between those hype announcements are solid updates for release dates, good new announcements that are for smaller games that I'm interested in now. So yeah, I think across the board, like there's just a lot of great and good here. I think it's a poorly paced show. I think that the fact that for the last hour there really wasn't anything super exciting outside of Mega Man is a major issue. You need to have one last thing, and you need it to be something on the level of Fate of the Old Republic, in my opinion, or like we had last year with Intergalactic, or even Okami. Like I think would have been bigger than something like Mega Man and then High Guard,
Yeah.
obviously. But even with Mega Man being at the end there, I think that that's not enough to really kind of elevate that last hour. So with all that in mind, with that lackluster last hour, like it was really not great. And that last announcement that I think left a lot of people sour. When you look at the entire picture, I think it is a good showcase. I think it was a good showing. And then outside of that, when it comes to the awards, like Expedition 33 sweeping, taken home all the awards. I think it's well deserved, and I know a lot of people are absolutely enamored with and in love with that game. I think it's one of the best games to have come out in the last decade or decades. So I think that it's well deserved, and it was nice to celebrate that game and what it means for the industry for a small team and getting people into turn-based games that said they weren't going to be into turn-based games. I think is really important. Great art design, great world, great characters, all the above. Like it's really fantastic in just about every category, and we saw that throughout last night with it winning so many awards. So yeah, I think across the board it was a great show. How about you?
I'm going to go zero point 0.5 above you. Give it a 7.5. The big issue that I have with this showing is there's not as much for me as I would want there to be. I looked to next year's calendar, and there is not as much green on the calendar, for which for us means we're going to review this game as I would like to go and see after a Game Awards showing. There's a lot of yellow. There's a lot of, this is interesting. Am I going to get to it next year? This looks cool, but is it good enough for me to, when a 81 Metacritic comes out, oh, I need to hop on to that, even though it's not reviewing exceedingly well? There's so many of those types of games. With that being said, though, I think that there's an objective truth to some of the games that are not for me, that are bangers, that are all-timers, that are well beyond expectation. Also, a big part of this showcase, some of the best in the showcase, did get leaked, or there were things that pointed to what was going to be happening at the show. You look at Divinity, you look at Leon Kennedy. Those are two massive announcements.
If they don't say that Crystal Dynamics is going to be there with Tomb Raider, I think that's a huge announcement. Two Tomb Raider games, like that would have kind of been a huge hype moment for the show, and it just wasn't because we knew it was coming.
That Larian Studios logo would have hit like a drug if we didn't know that Larian was going to be there. Because this is something I realized today, and once again, I'm so excited that we get to do this after the fact because the emotions are a lot more settled compared to us literally podcasting immediately after seeing the High Guard trailer and being like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, that does not make sense. Not about that. But like, it's Larian, and where my brain goes to Larian on a studio comp and an announcement comp is CD Projekt Red.
I was thinking the same thing.
It is, hey, your first outing in a massive scale. Once again, not the first outing ever from the team, but the first outing that went and enamored worldwide fans and broke out of your just general circle. The Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate 3, 2 games that won Game of the Year, 2 games that are so beloved to this day, and 2 of the highest reviewed games ever. Like, you go and you ask what are the biggest holes in our gaming knowledge. I think that the 2 easiest answers are Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate 3. You have them returning with Divinity, dropping the social network style and being like, we're going to come out with, hey, this is the way that you're going to get into this game. This is the way you're going to get into the series. Yeah, sure, it is still in the world and all that stuff, but this is what you're going to be going and doing. Yes, it's going to be very similar to Divinity, but guess what? You just trust Larian at this point because you know it's going to be quality, because Baldur's Gate 3 is unbelievable, and the pedigree beforehand is also pretty amazing. So I think that you look at an announcement like that, you look at Fate of the Old Republic, you look at the entirety show, bringing out Mega Man at the end there, which is, once again, like, not on anyone's bingo card. When I sat down with the community on Monday and we did or a week and a half ago, and we did hey, like, let's toss out every possible game. Mega Man was the 110th game that got mentioned on that list. 110th. That is how unlikely it was. It was below Half-Life 3. It was below Jedi 3. It was below some of these amazing announcements that we thought could be there. And it was even more unlikely. It didn't come to the mind as much. I even said, like, I was like, yeah, Capcom's too busy. Well, guess what? It just looks like Capcom's just going to keep rolling as they've been doing for the past 5 years and just continuously kicking ass. I think that you look at all those announcements and you go, there is clearly quality here, but Larian isn't for me. And High Guard isn't a game that I plan on playing for more than a couple streams. And Fate of the Old Republic is long down the line. So all those
2030 at the earliest.
Yep,
Yeah.
Shy Guy tweeting that out. This was a commercial. This was a way to go and bring in lead talent, like
Yeah.
100%. Hey, we got the guy, we got the IP. Let's do something really special. And I'm all for that. I'm all for the hype announcement. We all know that like a CG trailer for me, that works. Like I can get excited about something that I know is going to be there in 4 or 5 years when you fill it out the rest of the show with 2024, 2020. Oh, sorry, 2026. Man, it's crazy that we're talking about 2026, 2026, 2026, 2027, 2026, 2026. Date. Like I'm okay to go and have a couple of those moonshots tossed out there for 2029, 2030, 2031. I think that it's a very good showing, but it is not holding a candle to 2024. I think that it's very much in line with what we saw in a more consistent show than 2023. 2023, I went back, I did some of the just like scrubbing through to remember announcements and such. 2023 had some bigger announcements and bigger pops for us, especially, but those were because they were us games. It was also just not paced as well, where we weren't getting fed every 15 minutes. Like even like something like the 4-loop game, J.J. Abrams, Bad Robot. We're interested about that game. We're interested about that studio. I before we got to see it, but as we're seeing it, the interest died down a little bit. We'll talk about that when we get there. But like we are captured by what is happening on stage in a moment like that. I look at even Exodus having that moment being like, Matthew McConaughey and Mass Effect and like all these things that like go and make this game interesting. Super cool. Let's see it. And then you have the big pop moments like the pod racing game at the end where it's like, what are we even doing? This is awesome. You, me, and Brady all lost our mind just thinking about the fact that we're going to get a cool Star Wars pod racing game next year. And then you have Control and you have the games of the show that make it more personal, right? So 7.5 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it. I really like if I could say the amount of fun that I had last night, it was like a 10 out of 10. It always is a 10 out of 10 to go and sit down, hang out. But when it's the next day and the two things that I go back and watch the most are the Street Fighter movie trailer and then Claire Obscure's music at the start and then in the melody. Once again, another moment for me. The second those violins started playing Lumiere, unbelievable. I got full chills, and then I watched this morning and got full chills again. Like they absolutely brought it when it came to music, presentation, a lot of those things. But yeah, when it came to the awards, it was not as interesting of who's going to win and stuff like that. So it's hard to go and have a show that you know what's going to win. The curiosity of what's going to win is no longer on the table. By you get through best indie game, it is Claire Obscure. Okay, well, guess what? That means that it beat out Hades. That means that it beat out Hollow Knight. That means that it's probably going to win Game of the Year. The next 3 hours were not as in depth about the awards. We knew who was going to win. It was just what was going to be said on stage for a speech that was interesting when it came to that aspect. So 7.5 out of 10 for me. I had a great time, but I do think that it was a little bit of a step or multiple step downs from last year, and then on par with 2023 and much better. By the way, this show is just like way better than 2021 and before. Like. We're still in a post 2021 era where it's like we're just going to get bangers. Like we are still going to get like some of the biggest announcements in the world happening on this stage. And that is really cool. Sorry to cut you off.
Did you see what the results were for Jeff tweeting out what would you grade the show as he does after every one of his shows?
No, I did not see the results. My guess would be people gave it a C or a B.
D was the overwhelming favorite.
See,
I'm not even close to that, man.
Yeah,
like I think it was like 36% D or below. I was like, no.
So
I think C or B is probably the ballpark we're looking at.
Yeah, because I also think that there was, as much as I say there wasn't a ton for me at the showcase, once again there was still a lot that was like there. Yeah. I looked at
I can't imagine being at an A though. I feel like if 2024 was an A, like this certainly wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't 2024, and I don't think 2024 finished, and we all said we're not going to get this until the 20th anniversary.
Ever again.
Like we'll see you in 10 years. Like I'm going to be 35 years old before we get. Hey, The Last of Us Part 3 and Elden Ring 2 and Bloodborne Remastered and Red Dead Redemption 3. Like, we don't get that in the industry. It needs to line up for Jeff still. Like, we felt that presence of Jeff went out last year and said, even if you're not fully ready, give me something. This year, he had to go and once again rely on okay, let's do the normal thing of going to studios worldwide, bringing in these different teams, getting something from whomever is ready compared to otherwise. And then you have
Right.
the Fate of the Old Republic, which is clearly not ready, but man, oh man, what a trailer. All right, Connor, you ready to hop in, breaking down game by game everything that we saw?
Let's do it.
All right, Connor, hopping into the first game, it was the Free Shepherd. This was the cute little sheep game where you're a dog, run around, and you continuously said that this is one of your favorite games of the show. Where are you at with the Free Shepherd?
Yeah, I think this looks like a mix of Death Stranding and something from Team Eco, something like Shadow of the Colossus. It's got a very lonely vibe to it, but you're also playing as a fucking dog. So I am in. There's clearly something deeper going on here outside of just the herding aspect of this. There's like a puzzle aspect to this game seemingly, and there's like these weird structures throughout the environments. Like I just really think this is a very unique concept and something that we don't see a lot of in the gaming space. So I'm pretty intrigued by this.
Yeah,
2027 is rough though.
yeah.
PS5 exclusive, which I think is interesting, but it's a long ways off, unfortunately.
I think that this is a solid showing. This is something that when it comes up again at a state of play and next September and we get a date on it, we'll be like, oh yeah, like awesome. And hopefully it's early 2027 too, where we're not going to be going too long for it. I'm excited, but I don't think I'm as excited as you. This is one of those that like, if it were on our schedule, I would highlight it in green, be like, we're gonna review it, but Connor's gonna be the one to review it, okay?
Yeah. It's something that I feel like I'm gonna say that I'm really excited for, and then it's gonna come out, and there's gonna be another game that like takes priority, and I just don't get around to it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Next
Unless
up,
it gets like fucking earth-shattering reviews, and then I'm
yeah.
like, okay, like I have to play it.
Sort of the C type moments where it gets like an 88 and you're like, okay, I
Yeah.
gotta roll in. Next up we had Decrepit. This is once again Jason Pinelli from GameSpot. Quote, Decrepit is a new dark fantasy game that mixes Souls-like combat with old school dungeon crawling. End quote. This is in first person. We joked about the Skyrim nature of it. You're talking about a fantasy game in first person. That's always gonna be the comp here at Co-op 64. I'm not super into this trailer, but this was one of those that was just like, it's all right. I'm down to move on sort of moment, right?
Skyrim mixed with Souls likes, I think that's going to be for somebody. I'm just not into first person melee combat in general unless it's in VR. But yeah, I'm just turned away by this for sure.
Oh man. Next up we have Audio Mech. This is once again from Jason Minelli's writing. Quote, Audio Mech is a neon tinged shoot 'em up from the creator of Audio Surf, where players will shoot lasers made with the power of music. End quote. Yeah, this was a Resogun overload type of trailer. I thought
Geometry Wars.
yeah, this looked awesome. This is one of those that like I would love it to be more arcadey, like quick levels, like we're flying through it. Give me in and out of here in 4 hours, and I will play this game, sort of deal. I don't know if my eyes can literally hand how bright it is for a 20-hour plus campaign, but if this is a shorter experience, I think that it looks pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, as Housemark has moved into more of a AAA space with stuff like Returnal, there is a space for retro style, high score chasing, arcadey experiences, stuff like Resogun, stuff like Super Stardust. One of the devs from Housemark left recently and put out a game that's getting a good amount of buzz. I don't know the name of the game, but I've seen footage of it, and it kind of looks like this, honestly. So yeah, I want more of these types of games, and this is on my radar now for sure.
Next up, we had Pragmata getting a release date. Connor, this was the first thing that I put down on our updated calendar for just this morning. I had a nice morning, Connor. This was one of those mornings I'll never forget. Just like post game awards, sipping on an iced coffee as I do, even though it is like 5 degrees out here in Cincinnati. It was the first game I put on there. April 24th. How are you feeling about Pragmata this early next year, and the way that it is like we're getting 2 Capcom bangers in the span of 2 months? How are you feeling?
I'm stoked on this. You and I got to play this back in the summer of this year, and really were blown away by it. I didn't need to see more of it, but everything that we did see looks fucking awesome. The fact that it is as soon as it is great news. I will say that the Mega Man developer was like, I know that you're disappointed that it's 2027, but we do have something a little bit sooner
Yeah, it's
that you
Pragmata.
can be excited about. It,
No, it's
Is
not
it?
a Mega Man game. It's not a
It
Mega Man
might
game.
be. I'm saying it's on the
It's not a
table
Mega
now,
Man
Nick.
game.
It's on the
It is
table.
not a Mega
It
Man
was
game.
off the table once we saw Mega Man, but then he said that, and I'm like, it's back on the fucking
It's not on the
table.
table.
It's possible.
It's on the table. I rewatched our
Secret
opening.
Mega Man
I
game.
rewatched our opening reaction to the showcase, and when Jeff is like, we bring in what we can, and we're like, let's lower expectations, and then he's like, and we got some really good stuff, and I was like, let's higher those expectations. That's what it feels like with you and Pragmata right now. Where you're like, it's not a Mega Man game,
Even if it's not a Mega
but it
Man
might
game,
be.
I'm super fucking stoked on this. It's really something special, very unique. It's very difficult to describe it and get people on board with it without actually getting to play it.
But there's a demo. That's the other part of this. There's a
Yes,
demo
so
out
go
now.
play it.
Go play it and hit us up in the comments and be like, are we crazy for how much we enjoyed this? We left a preview event where we played Resident Evil Requiem and we were like, was Pragmata the most fun that we had today? And like as we were waiting for an Uber, and we both agreed, like it kind of ripped. It's really fun, Helldivers type of gameplay, story based. I brought up Dead Space as a comp just for over the shoulder space adventure, where you have really like it's not a horror game, but it has the weapon wheel from that. Like I think some of the weapons are really well designed and such.
The correction I want to give is it's not like Helldivers. It has stratagem.
Yes.
It's kinda, but it is nothing. It does not play like Helldivers.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
This is it plays closer to Dead Space with stratagems. Like that's and you're not fighting like monsters. You're fighting robots. So it's awesome, dude. So cool. Can't wait for it. One of the biggest games of next year now is now on the radar. Can't believe that we are doubling up. Where's Onimusha? Like, when's that announcement happen? I think that there's a world we get all three of these games first half of next year at this point. Like, I could easily see State of Play rolls around and we get an Onimusha date for May, even. That would not shock me, or June.
Then what is going to be their fall game?
GTA 6. Get out of the way of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that they're just completely getting out of the way there.
Then I could see Onimusha just being September.
Yeah, totally. I could see it landing around there. I think that it's also, though, if you go May or June, you're also getting out of the way of all the games that are going to get backed up into September and October that were originally November dates. Like, internally, there's a lot of movement that's going to happen. If you are able to, like, even Saros is a great example of it, where it's like, when we got Saros revealed and it was 2026, it was like, well, hopefully it's first half so you don't have to deal with GTA 6. Like, when it was a May date for GTA at that time, and then we learned it was March, and it's like, great, this makes sense. And then we started to see already, by the way, I think that this Pragmata date, the team over there must have been like drinking champagne after it got pushed from May, because all of a sudden you have a little bit more of a window to go and have your game really shine, and that's why we got the release date here is how I feel about that. Next up, we got Bradley the Badger. And this was one where I got to give myself some credit, Connor. I had one of my best vintage two shoes moments where we go and see Badgerborn, and I'm like, is this one of the levels or is this the whole game? And you're just like, oh, this is the whole game, dude. And then we kick into like Cyber Badger or the Last of Badger or whatever, like, and we get in those new levels. I think that this 3D platformer as a Badger looks back crap crazy, and I'm all for it. This is one that is totally on the radar at this point. Do I think that it's going to be unbelievable? I don't know. But do I think it's going to be a lot of fun? This is a game that is now on the radar, and I'm about it for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely got a cool tone to it, and the way that it's bouncing between a bunch of different franchises and parodying them, I think is really fun. I don't know if I'm sold on the moment-to-moment gameplay, though. Like, I think the ideas are there, the concepts are there, but I'm very curious to see how this actually plays and if it can, like, justify, like, a 10-hour runtime, or if this will get tired or not. But, like, I think the idea is fantastic. Yeah. But I really want to play this to really fully understand it.
Next up, we had Stupid Never Dies, which was like an emo-infused pop punk rock type of trailer with almost a comic art style for a little bit there, and then we go and kick into gameplay, and it was a little bit more of a beat 'em up where you're fighting like zombies, and was a little bit less, a little bit lackluster in my opinion.
Like a little generic.
But yeah, I think that it was a fine way to close out the pre-show. Moving along, we had some awards. I think this is where Miss Piggy came out, which hysterical bits throughout the night. Whatever happened in Bora Bora, I don't even want to know. But then we kicked into arguably the biggest announcement of the night: Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic. Holy crap, Connor. This is also directed by Casey Hudson.
Hudson.
Yes.
Yep.
And who is BioWare fame and worked on the Old Republic games and has helped in the Mass Effect series. One of the best in the business. Connor, where are you at as Mr. Mass Effect on the channel with an announcement like Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic?
He also headed up Anthem. So, like, he's not infallible. Like, he can put out a bad video game. So I'm not gonna say like this is guaranteed to be great, but you throw his name on a game, I'm gonna be interested in it. I've never played any of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games. It's a very shameful part of my backlog. I got to get to it at some point. So my excitement for this is really just off of other people's excitement because they really love those fucking games. And as somebody who loves BioWare from the Mass Effect series, I can also kind of understand the hype for those previous games and kind of latch onto that and be excited for Fate of the Old Republic here. I think that this trailer looks great. It's very conceptual. Like I get a good vibe from it, but like we don't get a lot outside of vibes. Um, I like when Star Wars is done really well. And
Yep.
I think that this could be that. And I feel like we don't get a ton of that nowadays. Like I think that it's just a mixed bag. They just don't treat Star Wars as this like really sacred special thing. And I feel like even say what you want about the prequels, like during that era though, like when it comes to like the extended universe stuff and the video games, like they were putting out high quality shit, dude. Whether it be Battlefront, whether it be Knights of the Old Republic, whether it be Lego games, like all really good stuff. And I hope that this could be us going back to that era and getting something more in line with the Jedi franchise that has been stellar, rather than something like Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
That's the one from last year.
Outlaws
Yeah.
yesterday, last year, and
That people didn't love nearly as much. So like I think that's I based off of what we know, which is very little, I'm leaning towards it's going to be something in line with Jedi, at least of that quality, and I think it could easily be well above that, depending on the ambition of this game. If they're going to go with these really deep, rich RPG mechanics that you come to expect from earlier Bioware games, so like I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited to just be in this world again. I kind of have just like pushed off of Star Wars, generally speaking, when it comes to the shows and the movies. I'm still a little bit like interested in. Like I liked Jedi Fallen Order quite a bit. I still haven't checked out Survivor. I feel like that could be a stream game in 2026 for sure. But yeah, this is on my list of most anticipated games that I will be playing in 5 years, which is now a list made up of this and Star Wars Eclipse, which is it's weird that it's two Star Wars games.
it's this Star Wars Eclipse and Fizzin. They're all hanging out in a bar right now together.
Right.
Yeah, I can't believe that this exists, like just at all. This is something that like is not on anyone's bingo card, and I like when there's an announcement like this because it proves it in my mind. This proves that you don't need to be Bloodborne 2. You don't need to be a sequel of the already known thing. You can come out with massive IP and a major name in the industry, and that can get the people going in the exact same way. Like I think a lot of people went and were like, we'll get to it when it comes to High Guard. They're like, you can't do this new IP thing to close out an award show or open an award show. I'm like, you can do it if you do it the immensely right way. You have to piece it together where it completely makes sense. And this is you have the Mass Effect guy going and working on a Star Wars RPG that you imagine is going to be like insane. You see at the trailer that you're going to be playing as a lightsaber wielder too, probably a Jedi. Like all that works for me where it's like I want this whole cast to be awesome. I believe that this team can go in once again early stages. Andy Cortez from Kind of Funny said that if you looked at the page, they were hiring 10 leads. All the positions were lead positions. This team is bare bones. It really feels like it's Casey and a couple other industry vets that are going and being like, all right, we have the pedigree. We need to go and start piecing it together. And I think they're going to do so.
I have no faith in the quality of this game or that this game ever comes out if Casey Hudson's name wasn't attached to it. That's the only thing that gives me hope and gives me a reason to be like, okay, like I can get hyped about this because I have some faith that it's going to be good and it will eventually
come out.
actually come out.
Yeah, and I also think that the way that pedigree works in this industry, and as you and I become more and more familiar, it feels like with not just the way that games are developed, but how they are produced when it comes to the finances and the way that backing. It seems like this is independent. It seems like this is outside of like the normal publishing cycle, and so normally when you have something like that, it's really hard to go and just have sunk cost compared to when you have a over like if you're working for a company like Sony, for example, and then you're able to use it as a write-off to work on a different project. This is their only project. This is it. Like if they go and put millions into this project and don't get something out the door, it's game over, not just for the studio, but there's too much money. The tax write-off is not going to be worth the squeeze. You got to get this game out the door. I think that it's going to get out the door for sure, and I think it will be quality.
When do we see it next?
Game Awards 2028. Gameplay 2028.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Gameplay 2028 with the 2029 date that gets pushed to 2030. Yeah, that feels about right to me.
I think you do 2028 gameplay, no date after that, because I don't think they would be confident at that point of hitting 2029 at all.
Or maybe you do gameplay 2028 and you do 2030 with 2030 as the year, and you go from there. But yeah, this is one of those things that it is now on the radar. But like The Witcher, like Intergalactic, when that shows up last year, we don't start predicting it to be at state of plays. We don't start predicting that these things are going to show up anywhere else. Like, it's like, I'll see you in a couple of years, and then we can start having the conversation of it's going to come back around to be exciting. Next up, we had Divinity. It dropped the. It's cleaner. It's more simple. Divinity.
Worth noting, Divinity Original Sin, we kept saying they can't do Divinity Original Sin 3. There's the 2 games before that. You don't want to have people needing to play those 2 games to get into this franchise. There's apparently 4 other Divinity games.
Yeah, apparently it's a long
outside of that.
Yeah,
so we kept saying that, so I just wanted to correct the record on that.
That's a great call. I am nervous, Connor. I want to start here. This is when I see an announcement like this, I get a little nervous. Because you're not going to freaking play this game. And Brady's not going to play this freaking game. So I'm going to have to play this freaking game. It is.
I'm not going to play this game. I'm not writing it off completely.
I know.
I might get swept up in the hype. And I'm interested in Baldur's Gate 3. We just played in the worst possible setting with the 3 of us on the couch, and we're just talking to chat the entire time. I need to sit down, turn the lights down, really just sink into that world and immerse myself.
Connor,
and I think there's a chance that I could be into BD3.
I want it badly. I want to play Baldur's Gate with you and Brady so badly and do it.
I think that would be fun, but I fear that that's a second playthrough type of situation where I really want to experience this game because I feel like we're just going to be talking over it or not able to really immerse ourselves in this world because we're just hamming it up the entire time.
I know. I'm excited. Here's what I think the pipeline is going to be. Literally tomorrow I'm playing D&D with some friends, which is a little bit outside my comfort zone. I haven't played it D&D since college. This is the first time 2 of the people have never played before. And obviously we did a one shot for content, but I haven't sat down and done this. I hope that I get swept in up in some of the high fantasy of D&D and want to go and play some Baldur's Gate 3. My buddy Brock, who is one of the people that are playing, is a BG3 guy, and I'm so excited to go and talk about the game a little bit more with him and have a great time there. But yeah, I can't wait for Divinity. I'm stoked for this whole thing. Sucks that it got leaked. This would have been unbelievable. That Larian Studio would have hit they are as big now as CD Projekt Red in my mind when it comes to the sauce. Is it for me? No, CD Projekt Red way more for me, way more up my alley when it comes to story and narrative and the way that the gameplay works in those games compared to a more strategy style RPG. But I'm interested. I'm probably going to freaking play it because somebody on this team will play it, or I think that we will not have credibility on the year that it comes out when it comes to the Game Awards. I'll try it once again. And it's going to rip. It's Larian. I have full confidence in this team at this point. It's not also that the Divinity games were bad games beforehand. They were great. Baldur's Gate 3 was just a coming out party to be this massive freaking moment of we are kick ass. We are the best in the biz. Game of the year, left, right, center. It was awesome, and I think that they should have closed with this. They should I wanted there to be a counter of how many times we said they should have closed with this instead of High Guard. Because as of right now, I can say we're 2 for 2. We are 2 for 2. It's pretty ridiculous.
What did you think of the trailer?
As someone that is not like in love with the idea of just seeing a man being burned alive. That's not. I don't enjoy that imagery. And like I don't want to see pigs puking and stuff like that. I also feel like this is a trailer that they decided we're gonna crank everything up to 11. We're gonna make an impression, and they did a dang good job of making an impression. And I don't think that there's a
Yeah.
single person that will have seen that trailer and forget it any time in the next week or
I
so.
think that's the key. Like, it might have been fucked up but, like, you're gonna remember it.
Yep.
Like, and if this is true to the universe and this is the tone of what they're going for, like, you can't pull your punches. Like,
We
this
we
is what the game is.
we
You're
have.
you're you're marketing the game like
Yep.
that. Show them what it is, and if
It,
this is what it is, then great.
there's gonna
Like,
be
that makes sense.
there's going to be people that are doing crazy rituals. There's going to be people dying. There's going to be people boning. There's going to be people eating meat. Like it's going to be a great time for those that are interested in the high fantasy, crazy adventure. And the fact that they said it's bigger than Baldur's Gate 3 breaks my brain because everything I know about that game breaks my brain already. Like that's a big reason why here at Co-op 64 we are always singing the praises of Baldur's Gate 3, even though it's a game that's not really for us because we just know about this game in a way that it's like, yeah, we know how games are designed and developed, and this doesn't make sense. Every other studio, when it comes to the RPG space, is trying to catch up with Baldur's Gate 3 and what they're doing, and guess what? Larian's going to do? They're going to elevate that as everyone's still trying to catch up to Baldur's Gate 3 with Divinity is my assumption. Moving on, this was such an interesting announcement. For Loop, a game developed by Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams. They got a fun little story here. Literally, the previous CGNC was titled, "Hey, this studio exists." That's pretty crazy. And now their game is out there. Connor, you and I both didn't love this one, I don't think. How do you feel about For Loop?
Yeah. Just doesn't do it for me. This screams of desperation from PlayStation. Like that they know that they kind of fucked up by not locking down Arrowhead after Helldivers 2. They have failed at live service games over and over again so far with their initiative to try to get into that space, and they're just looking across the industry and being like, I don't know. We need something.
Yep.
We need to try again. Our studios aren't putting out anything great. Concord, namely, but also like you have Haven with Fair Games. They can't seemingly get off the ground with that. They're like, well, we got to find somebody else, and we had somebody with Arrowhead, but now we don't. So like, okay, what we got a name with the Left 4 Dead creator, Mike Booth. Okay, this might be something, and I think that is all that this game has is the pedigree of Mike Booth and the fact that he made Left 4 Dead. Because otherwise, this game looks like every other 4-player co-op shooter. I just am not interested in this world and the general vibe of what they're going for. I don't know, man. Like I don't think this looks very good at all.
I echo everything you said. For the reasoning of time alone, I'm going to keep going to the next one because literally I copy and paste what Connor just said. That's exactly how I feel about it. Next up, we had Coven of the Chicken Foot. This was once again reading from Jason's writing over at GameSpot. Quote, dark fantasy tale Coven of the Chickenfoot about an elderly witch and her animal companion is the first project from Wildflower Games. The studio is headed by Bruce Straley, the former co-director of The Last of Us and Uncharted. So
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, so that's the big part of this, where it's like, how does this game get into this show and this slot? And there's pedigree here. It looks cool.
I don't know. Like this looks great.
Yeah,
It feels like though it can just get lost in the shuffle. Like unless
totally.
this reviews exceptionally well, I fear that like it might just kind of come and go. But like I like the general idea here. I think the art style is really interesting. I just need to know if it's gonna be great or not.
Yeah, this is one that would do well with a 10-minute breakdown in a showcase, and I know that that's like a lot to go. Yeah, a demo would be great. Get people hands on, get media on this one. Like this game needs to go and start getting the stokes in the fire a little bit for the conversation to really take over because you do have that pedigree.
At the same time, I don't know if this is going to be a gameplay game. Like this seems like something that could pull at your heartstrings. Like I need to see reviews that like, oh, this game made me cry. I'm a changed person after playing Coven of the Chicken Foot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that could get me stoked on this, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not.
The art style immediately reminds me of some of the best of Neva. Like it's not Neva one for one, but it's like, hey, Neva was ahead of Helldivers and Stellar Blade for me last year. Like if you can slot in there and be a really mouthwashing, even another cool indie, like if you can slot into that type of style game, I think we'll be doing pretty well.
And also, shout out to Bruce Straley, man. He made The Last of Us
Yeah,
and Uncharted 4. Like, he's as responsible for those games as Neil Druckmann.
yeah,
And I feel like we point to Neil Druckmann because he stayed with Naughty Dog and is now the president and made The Last of Us Part 2. But like, Bruce Straley, like, is a great, talented game developer. And
for
like,
sure.
the fact that he's attached to this is very important.
Next up, we had On Twos. Once again, reading from Jason. Quote, Amnesia, the Dark Descent developer, Frictional Games and Kepler Interactive revealed a new sci-fi game On Twos, a spiritual successor to Soma, which will release in 2026. Its trailer was pretty gross. End quote. Yeah, this is first person, terrifying. I don't have a lot on this one, but I'm not going to play it. I'm too much of a scaredy cat.
Apparently my description of Soma was terrible. I don't know anything about Soma apparently. Like I thought that it was like more like Outlast, like there isn't like combat in it, but
Yeah.
I apparently I'm wrong. I was talking out my ass. With that being said, Soma has a lot of buzz around it. Like people really love that game. I would qualify that as a cult classic. So the fact that we're getting another game from that studio, kind of a spiritual successor to that, I assume those Soma fans are going to be feasting, really excited about it. I think this trailer looked awesome,
Yeah.
and it gives me similar vibes to what I had seen of Soma in the past. So TBD on if it's great or not, but I think that this is a great first showing.
Moving on to Resident Evil Requiem, Daddy Leon Kennedy is back in the building. This was awesome. We got a press release after the fact talking about the way that this is going to be two characters intertwined, narrative storytelling. That obviously raises the flag of a amazing moment like with the Alan Wake 2 storytelling. I would love it's high action for Leon. It is Claire, not Claire, it is the female protagonist that we've already played as, Connor
Grace.
and I. Grace, thank you, Ashcroft. We have already previewed this. It was awesome for Grace's section, but it definitely, I saw a comment, I think it was on our Game Wars thing. They're like, now that Leon's back, it's going to be all action. And I wanted to say, no, this game is going to be very scary when you're playing in first person as Grace, for sure. But I am excited that we are getting back to the roots of this series in some way. Leon Kennedy is one of the most beloved characters in all of gaming, and we have not seen this man really come through in a banging video game since RE4, since 2004, right? Like, this is gonna be amazing. I'm
no,
so
he was
stoked.
in RE6.
I said a banging video game, Connor.
Oh,
RE6
sorry,
is not a banging video game, exactly. But yeah, I'm stoked for this. RE7 and RE8 were obviously regarded as some of the best horror games ever. RE9, I assume, will be up for Game of the Year next year. That's where I'm at with it, knowing what we know with how good this game is.
Two things. Sucks that it got spoiled. Because this would have been one of the most hyped announcements of the night.
No, it would have been Connor. It would have been my favorite announcement of the night. It would have that is. It is massive that it got spoiled. Like because we talk about like what's for us, what's the all plays that we like to say where it gets Brady going, you going, and me going. Leon Kennedy is one of those things.
To be fair, we all kind of knew this was happening.
Yeah.
Like we all assumed it. Like the rumors were swirling before the announcement of this game, and like they kept kind of teasing it out, like constantly, and constantly trying to get people off the trail of this, and like they just kept mentioning his name so often that it was like you're hiding something clearly. So I feel like that kind of hurts the surprise potentially. But another aspect of this that they didn't show, I'm curious about how he works in first person.
Yeah, that's
we only saw him in third person.
That's gonna be very interesting.
Is the action combat gonna feel good in first person? Like I would assume so, but like I don't know how that's gonna kind of go back and forth.
You just fired me up, dude, because that's gonna be awesome. Like one of my biggest issues playing as Ethan Winters is you don't feel badass. You don't feel like it is a horror first type of experience. If you're getting that delivered with grace when it comes to the horror first type of experience, something in the preview was like the way that she breathes and like is trying to catch her breath. It is so fear-inducing. It chills you to the bone as you're walking around some of these environments. I'm so stoked for what we're going to be getting with Leon when it comes to over-the-shoulder, first-person action badassery. Third-person over-the-shoulder action badassery. It's going to be awesome. Moving on, we have Order of the Sinking Star. This is the puzzle game from the creator of The Witness. Over 1,600 puzzles or 1,400 puzzles. And what you got, Con?
Did we get a release date for this?
No, we did not. I don't believe so. Yeah, 2026. 2026. I'm 95% sure on that. Once again, get in the comments. Well, I rewatched the show basically 3 times at this point. So it is all coming and going. It's all very fresh in the brain. But this is awesome. Not for me. That's the issue of this entire showcase. Looks amazing. Apparently, if you want to do everything, Blessing Adeoye Jr. from Kind of Funny was like, I got to press release on this, and it's like 600 hours for a completionist run. Like, that's bananas. Like, this game is going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait.
It's next year's Blueprints. Like,
yeah,
people who are really into this kind of game are going to be really fucking into this and put this up there as a contender.
Yeah,
for next year. Trust. Like The Witness 87 on Metacritic, Braid 93.
Yeah.
Like this guy makes fucking fantastic games, and I think that it's going to be some people's absolute fucking shit. And they're going to be banging the drum on it when it comes time for Game of the Year season, I would imagine.
Yeah,
it could go either way, I guess, but like I would be shocked if this game isn't fantastic.
I think that we could be in a situation, if I had to place a bet right now, I assume this game gets more 10s than it gets 7s. If I had,
100%.
So like I'm expecting.
I'm not playing this fucking game.
Oh yeah,
like I am too stupid for this.
Exactly. I'm saying that we're talking 86 and above without reasoning, and I would not be shocked if this is well into the 90s and is one of the best in the year.
Maybe I'll play the first few levels and kind of like, ooh, I'm kind of smart, and then I'll hit that first roadblock and be like, ugh.
This is definitely one where it's like I could see us reaching out and being like, if we could go and have the dedicated time to go and try to get through some of this, it could be a lot of fun.
I need 700 hours of lead time, please, because it's going to take me about that long to get through what would take most people 40 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's going to be a great time. Moving on, we had a double header with Exodus and then Dungeons and Dragons Warlock. Exodus, we got some gameplay. Dungeons and Dragons Warlock, we just got a CG trailer. I believe they're made by the same team. That's why I'm saying double header. Connor, where are you at with this?
I think that Exodus looks good, not great, and it's the fact that it's the ex BioWare devs that's giving me hope for this game at this point. I think if they realize this world well enough and there's interesting characters and decent combat, it could still be fun. It doesn't necessarily need to have like the greatest visuals to be enjoyable if it has all those other aspects. Sucks that it's 2027.
Yeah.
Like I thought this was clearly going to be probably like something summer next year,
Yep.
and the fact that it's that far away is pretty disappointing. This was announced 2022 at the Game Awards.
I think so. It was the first announcement. No, 21. First announcement in 2021, I feel like, So
it's been a long time coming, but I imagine that it's similar to Fates of the Old Republic. That was a trying to get people to come work for you kind of trailer, rather than like an actual like we're deep into development type of thing. So I'm a little bit mixed on this, but we'll see.
I'm definitely mixed too. And then moving on to Dungeons and Dragons, it's the same studio, but exactly, it is CGI without the proof in the pudding. Like at least with the Fate of the Old Republic, you have IP and a director. This is neither. I don't feel like the faith is fully there, except for the fact that it's ex BioWare. But we need Exodus reviews before we start thinking about what this next title is going to be. All right, getting into what my game of the show is: Control Resonant. There is a thing, Connor, that I want to bring us back to. 2023 podcasting with you was raw. It was gritty. We were using the blue microphone. We didn't know jack about anything. We didn't know where we would be in a couple of years. Every single podcast we shot, we ended with thank you so much for your support, because we could not believe anything that was happening in our life at the time. But also there was a little game called Alan Wake 2 that you played and reviewed on the podcast. And you were like, this is one of the best games I've ever played, dude. You got to try it. And I was like, this is not for me. And then before the Game Awards, I beat Alan Wake 2 through nightmares, through just late night gaming sessions. And it became one of my favorite games ever. And it like took over our channel's content for a little bit, where we would talk about it on basically every podcast for a quick footnote. And then even, hey, Sam Lake, we would love to have you on the podcast. Like all that stuff, right? I didn't realize how much I needed Control Resonant for next year. We know what we're getting from PlayStation. Down the barrel bangers with things like Wolverine and things like Saros, which we'll talk about here in a moment. We know what we're getting from Team Green and with Fable in E-Day. But Connor, where's my AAA weird? Where's the thing that's going to get me staying up late at night, not knowing if I'm in a real world or not because of what I just witnessed? Like, The Control Resonant is going to be that for me. I can't wait to play the original Control. Haven't done it yet. I think it's finally going to be, one of us will play it on stream before this game comes out. I kind of like assure you that, like, it's going to happen, because it's been on both of our stream lists for over a year now of games we potentially want to stream, and we haven't gone to it yet. It's going to be there. I cannot wait for this game. It's my game of the show. Dude, he made a sword into a freaking hammer. There was walls like flipped upside down like in Inception. I'm all in. Game of the show for me. Sucks that there was even a what's the thing in law that a patent. They patent Control Resonant that came out a couple weeks beforehand. Sucks that there was some rumblings. Once again, if we just let Remedy pop up, we would have all been crapping our pants. Would have been nuts.
The fact that it didn't fucking matter is a testament to how amazing this fucking trailer was. Awesome. Like, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And we still were fucking blown away. Yeah. Like, a little history for me here. Like you mentioned, played Alan Wake 2 in 2023, fell in love with it. That was my first Remedy game. Always thought that Alan Wake seemed really cool, but it was an Xbox exclusive when it first came out. Picked up Control on Black Friday with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Sekiro. 3 games, all of them, like, probably paid like $15 for them, but that is just a foolish choice. You can't do that.
Yep.
Because you're going to pick one of them and the other 2 are going to go by the wayside. It happens every single time. You can't buy a bunch of games at once. So I dabbled in Control. I played probably an hour or 2 of it and enjoyed what I played, but like I was barely scratching the surface. But falling in love with Alan Wake 2, it has moved Control into like high up on my priority list. I got to get to it.
Yep.
And with that in mind, like seeing Control Resonant here, I'm like, fuck. Like, number one priority. I legitimately am thinking about buying a Steam Deck so I can take it with me to Massachusetts and play Control.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to play this game as soon as fucking possible so I can be ready for Control Resonant, because this was one of the best trailers I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, it had so much sauce. The visuals were absolutely fucking insane. I love how weird Remedy is, and they know they need to come out with a fucking banger after how bad FBC Firebreak flopped last year. Like, and they're like, fine, we go back to our bread and butter. We go back to what we know works. And hopefully this is a major commercial success for them, because I need Remedy in this industry pumping out these kind of games at a consistent cadence, because this looks fucking awesome. And we saw so much of it. Like, this is our first reveal, and we saw, I thought it was just going to be kind of cutscenes, and then we get full on gameplay snippets throughout the end of it. And I'm like, this all looks fucking awesome, dude. Like, I was so into this. I've been thinking about it all day. And that's what you want from a great trailer and from a moment at the Game Awards. I am just on cloud 9 when it comes to Control Resonant.
This is it also your game of the show? Is that where you're at?
I think so. I was going to say no debate, but it's like, I think that
Fate of the Old Republic.
Yeah, there so really cool. Is. It's pick your poison. Like, whatever you have your personal preference with. Like, if you're big into fantasy, like, you're probably gonna say Divinity.
Yeah.
If you're a huge Star Wars fan, like, obviously you're gonna say, or a huge RPG fan just in general, like, you're between Divinity and Star Wars. But like, if you like your single player, third person action adventure games, like, this is it, man.
Yeah,
like this looked amazing.
This was one of those.
2026, dude. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
Like I said, this is the game that I didn't know I needed next year, but now that is in the slate, it's like, dude. And I also think that, like you said, I don't know if they can survive without getting a new game out there that garners success and rips it. Like, Remedy is an important and special studio in this industry, and I'm so excited to always see them pop up the Game Awards. 2021 Alan Wake 2 was like, what the hell are they even doing? I didn't know it was going to turn into one of my favorite games ever, and now here we are.
And that trailer, that trailer was fucking amazing too.
It's a great trailer.
Like, I don't think I would have been interested in Alan Wake 2 if that trailer didn't rip as hard as it did.
We reacted to it back while I was in college. It was awesome, dude. Good old days. Moving on to Gang of Dragon. This is developed by Toshihiro Nagoshi, who is the first project outside of Sega has been revealed in Gang of Dragon. This is basically Yakuza, but without going bananas, becoming a pirate, hitting the dance floor, it seems like. There's
I
guns
don't
in
know.
it.
It might have all those sensibilities. We
I
don't
don't.
know.
I'm gonna say I think that this is grounded Yakuza, and I think that that's a spot that we could really utilize in the industry because Yakuza is one thing at this point, and it is delightfully bananas, right? Like you can play Animal Crossing in a Yakuza, like. You're doing a pirate adventure in Yakuza. Like all these things are cool and fun and different with very beloved characters. I think this is a good reset point, and they had a awesome trailer for it. Oh, by the
Yeah,
way,
I don't
that
want to be a.
sorry, that
Oh, go
read
ahead.
was from Jason's writing on the description of it. I didn't think I quoted that properly there, but yes.
I don't want to be a poser here. I've only played the first little bit of Yakuza Zero, so I don't know this guy's pedigree, but I know how much people fucking love that franchise, and it is such a long-running franchise for a reason, and it's probably because of this gentleman here. So, like, the fact that he's going off making his own game and it looks this good, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. But I feel like I got to play catch up on other games that he's made before getting to this one. But maybe this will be a great point to jump in on and just kind of get sucked up in the hype. So
That's exactly what I need in my life too. I'm not going to play Yakuza until I go for it. You know, like have the time to
yeah.
really have like fill out. And I don't. I just simply do not have the time to go and play multiple 40-hour games. Like I just can't do that. But hey, give me this experience. Maybe you go and stoke the fire, and I'll hop in the Yakuza series. Moving on, Connor, can I hit you with the punk tactics, dude? Street Fighter movie trailer, the first snippet. This movie seems off the walls. I don't like to promise a lot on this channel, but I will be damned if I don't get to do a podcast with Brady Goodall about the Street Fighter movie. Give me a big old bucket of popcorn. We will see you over on Bonus Pod 2026. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. It's all the ridiculousness of the celebrities. Momoa's kicking it. This looked, honestly, did it look great? No. Does it look ridiculous? Yes. And I feel like Street Fighter as this franchise, there's only one way you can really do a Street Fighter movie, and that is cranking up the insane nature of all these different people or beings or like coming into this world and fight. Like, and the action set pieces, people getting kicked through walls, and someone beat up a truck. Like all this is just cool, fun, ridiculous stuff, and is right up my alley as a fan of the Fast and Furious movies, for example. I like a stupid action fun movie, and the celebrity caliber that they're bringing in, and the WWE ties, and some of the stunt work that they'll be able to do is going to be just ridiculous. Finally, seeing some of these celebs too as these characters, seeing what they're going to look like in costume. Awesome. Very excited about this.
Yeah, you and I had a discussion before we started recording this about the Street Fighter movie. Best case scenario is that this is a good time at the theater with a big soda and a popcorn with your friends. That's the best case scenario.
Yep.
There's no way this movie is great. It might be good, and if it's good, that is a massive success for it. Like, I think this is going to be for some people. Like, I'm not going to be running out to the theaters to go see this. I feel like this might be something I catch on streaming at some point down the line, but probably not. I'm not very interested in this personally, and I assume that it's going to be bad. You set your expectations there, and then they might be exceeded. So
I will be seated next to Brady, having a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, we have Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. And we got a release date for this one of May 29th. I am excited for this. I put it in our schedule this morning, and I put it in as yellow. I could see us getting to this one, which is a really cool and exciting prospect, I would say. Like, we don't play the Lego games often. Well, obviously, you and Brady for 2025 Co-op-thon played Lego Star Wars on the PS2. We had a great little retro stream there. It was fun. But this normally isn't a priority thing. But seeing you play through the Batman Arkham games, seeing people, I believe, getting hands-on with this and having fun with it out at Gamescom and stuff like that, it's like, okay, there's something here. I hope it's fun. The difference between a Lego game to me, though, that is worth it and not is the difference between the 7 out of 10s versus the 8 out of 10s. And I just hope that this one lands on the 8 out of 10 side.
I think it's good that TT Games is pushing the boundaries of what a Lego game is. I feel like they were in a formula for like a very long time. They kind of broke out of that with the Star Wars, the Skywalker saga that they did a few years ago. This seems to be pretty ambitious, like a full-fledged Arkham game. in Lego. I serving that audience that so desperately wants one of those games because they haven't gotten one in a very, very long time, since 2015 with Arkham Knight. It's like, yeah, like this seems like it's going to be up a lot of people's alley. I don't know if it's going to be a game that I'm going to be able to find time to check out. It depends on the schedule. Like, and if the stars align, I'll try
Same.
to get this to go.
I mean, as of right now, just literally checking on my schedule that I've tossed things into. The furthest date we have is obviously GTA in there, and then there's Phantom Blade that we'll talk about here in a moment. But it is on an island in May as of right now. Obviously, we plan on seeing that fill out. But like, my thing is, if this fills out and it is marathon and you don't have any Xbox games around there, and it's Tamagotchi life from Nintendo when it comes to some of these bigger publishers, I could see this being a time to hop in and like not only have one of us play it, but potentially both of us, or we get Brady on it or something like that and have a fun time there. Next up, we got double tapped with some Tomb Raider. First, Tomb Raider Catalyst, the new Tomb Raider game coming out in 2027. And then they also showed up with Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, a reimagining of the first Tomb Raider game. Awesome. I think that this looks very solid, and I looked at you during the show, and I'm like, I'm just thankful that we are getting character action adventure games in this style. I miss the Uncharted franchise so much. I miss it more and more every day. So 007 is one of my most anticipated games for next year. This is now up there on the list, especially with getting Legacy of Atlantis being like, yeah, I could go for this. Like, I'm not as stoked as I am for 007, but like, I could go for this. I want, like, I'm not going to go and pull out the PS1 and play Tomb Raider, but you give me a reimagining and it plays well and it holds up. Yeah, I'm in.
8 hours, 10 hours too. It's like
Yeah.
that's in and out. Like, I feel like that's a great experience that you can kind of slot into your schedule pretty easily. I think Tomb Raider Catalyst, we didn't get a lot of it, so like TBD on how that's actually going to play out. But you got to take the pedigree of what Crystal Dynamics has done with this franchise. They made 2 excellent Tomb Raider games, as I understand it.
Yeah.
I've only played a good chunk of the first, the reboot, the 2012 one.
Yeah.
But then they handed off to Eidos. I think they worked in tandem with Eidos for Tomb Raider Shadows. And people are kind of mixed on that one, but when they're at the helm, they make bangers. So I'm going to assume that's going to be the case for Catalyst. And I am excited that they're giving us something to hold us over, because I think you see that 2027 date and you're like, ugh,
Exactly.
pretty far off. Then you give us Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. If this is an 8 to 10 hour game, great, perfect. That's what I'm looking for here. And if we're playing it in August of next year, I'm like, that sounds perfect.
I'll see you at Summer Game Fest for that. That's my call.
Yeah.
We'll see it at Summer Game Fest, and it'll be August, late July, early September window, and I think that that'll be a great time. Or once again, it's a reimagining. Like, this game already exists. Like, we are, like, it's not like we're getting a brand new thing. Shadow drop it at Summer Game Fest. That could also be really awesome. Moving on is Forest 3, another horror game shooter. I'm not into the Forest franchise. I don't know a lot about this one.
People are freaks about the Forest franchise.
Okay.
They like love this shit, dude. I know nothing about it though, but so I wanted to at least like mention this because like I know that this is a big deal for a lot of people.
Awesome. Stoked for those people that are stoked on it. Let us know in the comments below on why we should be excited about it. Moving on to Invincible Versus. This was a exciting new trailer because we got the release date, April 30th, I believe. I'm stoked on this as the fighting game guy on the team, where it's like, I'm not going to be into every fighting game. I'm not into certain anime fighters, but if you give me a known IP that I care about, I watched Invincible Season 1. I know Season 2 and 3 are great. I have not gone around to it. That and Andor are things that I really want to catch up on when it comes to my TV viewing. But I'm in. Like, I don't necessarily want to be in. Like, I don't think that this is going to be a 9 out of 10 fighting game. But if you come out with a content complete Invincible fighting game developed by, I believe, the KI developers of old, like, this is going to be pretty awesome across the board. And I think that they did go and have a good IP to go and hop in with and make something happen here. Like, I'm legitimately very excited for this one. I'm hoping that April doesn't get too full, because it's already getting really full with Pragmata and Saros now. And like, I'm like, oh shoot, like, am I going to get to this? But no matter what, I'll definitely hop in, play a handful of hours, and see what's up with Invincible versus play through the campaign and stuff like that.
Yeah, this isn't for me. I'm not a big fighting game guy, as you all know. And I've only watched a few episodes of Invincible, so maybe if I later down the line get all caught up and become obsessed with it, I could see myself hopping into this. But since I don't really know the IP, it's not up my alley, I don't think.
Next up, we have Orbitals. This was the like 1980s, 90s anime co-op game. Um, Looked awesome. This looks super fun. I will take any excuse to play couch co-op games with you or Brady, and have a great time there. And this art style looks rad enough where I'm like, yeah, rock and roll. I'm all in. How about you?
Yeah, throw this on the list with the dog shepherding game and um the Bruce Straley what was that one called? Coven of the
Oh,
Chicken Foot
Kevin of the
game.
Chicken
Like
Foot.
they're all in kind of the same vein for me, where it's like I like the look of this. I'm like I'm all in. I'll say that on camera, but like by the time it comes around, maybe it might get lost in the shuffle. But from what I see here, I'm all in on this. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah. Next up, we had Diablo 4 Lords of Hatred. This was the big expansion for Diablo. They always bring it over at Blizzard with those crazy animations and stuff like that. But this, for all of us, was the definition of the opposite of an all play. It's like, okay, Diablo's not for us. I know it's a massive thing for the people that are all in on Diablo, but not really for me. I'm gonna go through these next couple because I feel like
Yeah,
hop in when you start to like. And
I got nothing here.
and this is where the show, you can kind of tell, slows the hell down. Then it's Marvel Rivals. You get Deadpool in there. January, exciting for those that are still all about that game. Deadpool is obviously Deadpool. Lenny Kravitz and 007 First Light, cool. It was nice that he was giving an award out after the fact, because the showing
Yeah.
from 007 was not good enough to garner it happening at all. But the fact that he gave out an award after the fact, it's like, okay, this is why he's on stage right now. Cool. We can have a little bit of a moment. Get excited about 007. Still stoked. Can't wait for it. And then Lords of the Fallen 2. It needs to review very well. That's where Lords of the Fallen is at. I'm excited that they're getting another shot, but come on, like this is not a major deal. But what is a very interesting wrinkle of the night is PlayStation showing backup with Saros and quietly moving the release date to April 30th from a March release. We all know that this team just needs a little bit longer to cook. That's it. Hey, we want to polish up a couple things in the game before we get out the door. But I didn't need to see more Saros. Where are you at with this announcement?
I'm in the same boat. Like I'm all in. Housemark doesn't fucking miss. This game looks fantastic. Sucks that we have to wait a little bit longer, but take your time.
Yeah. And then moving on, we got No Law, and this was fun. When I wrote this in there, Connor was like, what was No Law? Reading once again from Jason, quote, No Law, the latest from the Ascent developer Neon Giant, is a first-person shooter following one man's quest for vengeance after he's attacked in his home. End quote. The trailer looked all right, but this isn't something that's immediately for me. You need reviews, you need some hands-on or something.
Doesn't jump off the screen. Looks a little bit generic.
For sure. Moving on, we got Hitman World of Assassination with a new high target or high value target. Mila Jovovich, which, like, for me, I just don't know this person's career well enough, and so
they were in all the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, cool! Like, once again, awesome. Hitman just continues to crush with that game, it seems like. But this is definitely a dip in the show, it felt like. Moving on, Total War, Warhammer 40K. Massive announcement for the Total War fans. Massive announcement for the Warhammer conglomerate that is just ever present in media. But not for you, me, or Brady in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I imagine Henry Cavill somewhere losing his fucking mind.
Yeah, 100%.
But not for us.
And then Ace Combat 8. Cool. Let's hit the skies. Like, no joke, I could see this being, I don't know how co-op works in this, but like, could be a fun stream, but I'm not into these games. Initially, I made the joke. I'm like, when I signed up for this channel, I was like, I'll be the racing game guy. I'll be the fighting game guy. But there's a different world where I take one of those off my calendar and schedule, and I become an Ace Combat guy and hit the skies, because I do have some interest in this game. It does seem cool to me.
Yeah, never been my cup of tea, but there's a reason we're on Ace Combat 8. Obviously, these games are pretty fucking good, or else we wouldn't be this far into the franchise. Cool that we're getting another one. I think Ace Combat 7 was mid-generation PS4, so it's been a while. The only reason I know that is because it had PSVR support. So I was a little bit bummed that it didn't have PSVR 2 support for this, but I'm excited for the Ace Combat 8 fans that are going to be all about this, I'm sure.
And next up, I do feel like everyone's like the show really like did not stick the landing, but we do get some decent announcements to close this one out, especially kicking off with Star Wars Galactic Racer as the racing guy on the channel. Yeah, I will be seated. We will be streaming this. This is something that I will be trying to get reviews for. Like, I want to review this video game. Like, Star Wars pod racing is very fun on the N64.
It's fucking great,
like
dude.
it has no right to be as fun as it is. And now we're getting the Burnout X devs working on something like this. It's like a Need for Speed. It's like, you know what
Match
you're
made
doing.
in heaven, dude.
Yeah, like you're bringing in once again elite IP mixed with elite talent. This is one of those, like, it's on nobody's bingo card. No one could ever imagine that this was going to happen, and now that it's happening, all you can do is smile. I'm stoked. Cannot wait. One of the best. Oh, this is probably the second best announcement in the show for me. Third.
That's not crazy.
Yeah,
That's not crazy.
Behind Fate of the Old Republic and Control Resident.
I'm not a huge racing guy, but if I am going to be into a racer game, it's going to be something a little bit more arcadey.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe that I'm getting here. If it's anything like the original, then I'm in.
I mean, Burnout is more arcadey when it comes to just like the Burnout is not
exploding
GT.
other cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Need for Speed, the latest one with all the neon and stuff like that, was a little bit more arcadey too. So I'm excited to see what they do. Next up, we got Phantom Blade Zero dropping a release date, September 9th, 2026. Excited that it actually is next year. I didn't have full faith. I'm a little bit sad that it's not sooner. You, me, and Brady all got hands on with this one. We all loved it. It will be somewhere in my top 10 most anticipated for next year. Probably around the number 8 spot. I'm just guessing, like around there. Like,
I think it could be top 5 for me.
Connor, what are you more excited for, Saros or Phantom Blade Zero?
Saros.
Okay, that's a fun
one. It's close though. It's close.
It's fun
but I don't know. I can't beat it though because I can't beat Returnal. So maybe I don't know.
One of the best lines of the night was when Saros was on screen. Connor's coach is like, "Those first 3 rooms are great." Like, I don't know what the 4th room looks like, but those first 3 are awesome. I can't wait for seeing what this team can do when it comes to the full product. This is one that I desperately want to get more hands on with beforehand. Would love to review it. Like, for you, me, and Brady, this is by far, if we were to go and have all 3 of us are making a top 10 list on most anticipated for next year, it would be in our top 5 for all 3 of us combined, for sure. Yeah. And final 2 announcements: Mega Man Dual Override. The Blue Bomber's back. Connor, what does this do for you?
I mean, I just understand the importance of this announcement for so many people. Like, I have only played Mega Man X and Mega Man 2, and 2 was last year that I played it for the first time. Loved it, had a great time with it, would like to be more into the Mega Man franchise. This will give me an excuse to get in on a new one. Sucks that it's 2027. I think that it's putting them in a bad situation, making this like one of the making it the penultimate announcements, because I think it's a little bit lackluster to be this hype moment for a lot of people, because it's Mega Man's kind of niche. At the end of the day, like it's a big deal, but like it's a big deal to a few people. Not
it's Okami, everybody. Dude. It's Okami. It's the same thing.
You have that big build up, and like I think a lot of people were let down by what they ended up getting and what we ended up seeing here with the gameplay footage. I think it looks great. I think it looks like more Mega Man, though. And I understand that being a little bit disappointing for people.
For sure. And then moving on. Oh, by the way, I'm excited. Moving on, like that's where I'm at. Like I'm excited, but 2027 does take the wind out of the sails a little bit. But Capcom's on a roll right now, and I think that there's a chance that they had this game initially penciled in for November this year, and then GTA 6 happens, and you're like, okay, let's just push it to March. Like there's no harm in that. We have a great year. Our books are going to be awesome. And also, if they want to go and like to have their new fiscal year start out with Mega Man and put it in April and start having that rollout of that Okami and then whatever it's also next from this team, I think 2027 could be another special year from Capcom. Moving into the last announcement of the night, High Guard. What a deflating feeling seeing this announced. I want a little monologue moment, Connor, so strap in.
Hit me.
I am legitimately upset because you can tell that the only way that this happens is the team had to pay up. Like, this is a marketing budget type of move. This does not happen without them cutting a check. And I think that you do that to go and be the last game of the Game Awards. You do that because this is the biggest slot of the night by a country mile. With that being said, it is basically unacceptable in my mind to have this be the last announcement. Mega Man Dual Overdrive could have been a better last announcement. Control Resonance could have been a better last announcement. If you didn't do the Tomb Raider announcements, but the back-to-back, that could have been the last announcement. Divinity could have been the last announcement. Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 9, bigger announcement than this. And then, yeah, Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, and I think I already mentioned Divinity. All bigger and better announcements than this. This is borderline unacceptable in my mind to allow yourself to say, yes, well, I am willing to have something pay to play to be in this spot. With that being said, what we saw was a cool looking hero shooter. We now know what that means though in this industry. The fact that there's not a beta out, the fact that there's not hands-on already, the fact that this wasn't shadow dropped. Like, I think that if this was shadow dropped, there would have been a little bit less sting. But to go and have every single person witness a trailer at the Game Awards and not be excited about it is nuts. This trailer slot is not, it's not going to hit for everyone. There's no games that really do often hit for every single person. But if you have even Mega Man, you understand it. You get it. If Jeff gets teary-eyed about Okami, you get it. If it is pedigreed studios that we know and love with franchises that we know and love, you get it. If it is the Fate of the Old Republic, and you have a director, you have the team, and you have this IP that's awesome, you get it. This is a massive, catastrophic misstep for the Game Awards in my mind. This is the content in the show is great in my mind. Like, I look at this list that we just went through and I go, this was a great showing. It really was. But I cannot call it a great showing when your last game is this. I'll spoil a little something. It's on our stream schedule. The game comes out on a Monday. I'm pretty excited about it. I think that it's going to be a fun time.
I think this game was good.
Yeah.
But it just is. I think this is backfiring on them totally.
Yep. Because
they pay to get into this spot, and now they're just going to be known as the game that ruined the Game Awards, which is being dramatic. But like, that's the conversation around this game at this point. It's not like, oh, this game looks great or anything like that. Like, it's just frustration surrounding this game. Yeah. And I think that's going to hurt it when it eventually does come out.
When you, me, and Brady are all saying you cannot do that. Like, and we felt that way with Okami a little bit, where we're like, but we get it. You know, like when Okami was the last announcement for a moment, it was like, okay, I get it. Like, even though I'm not excited about it, I get it. Like, I'm more excited about this game than a lot of others that were shown off this night. If this was just, if you flip the last two announcements, I think we're talking about it differently. I really do. Where it's like, even though like I'm not a Mega Man guy, I get it. Like, this feels tone deaf to me in a large way. Where it's like, I understand you want to go and prop up indie studios. Great. Awesome. There's a way to do it. There just is. Let us be shocked by the gameplay. There should have been exactly what happened, and then Jeff should have brought them out, the dev teams out, and said, okay, here's 5 minutes. We're gonna show you a match. And really, once again,
that. But there needed to be a beta. They need to let people play the fucking game.
Because that's the only way that you can really, you need to show it, though, not with the cool whatever scene, because we just know that isn't going to move mountains in this industry anymore after Concord. We live in a post-Concord
That's not how the game's, like, actually going to play when you get your hands on it. Like that's not how people play video games.
Yeah. And so this just sucked. And, as someone that really cares about this night, this is a deflating feeling. Yeah, I'm not.
It was so funny while it was happening. All of us were like, "Who's going to speak first?"
Yeah,
and like, are we going to be negative on this? Like, because I think the idea here is fine. Like, small team. This year is all about propping up small teams, and like they're really carrying the industry. Like, I get that, and like wanting to close with a small team, I think makes perfect sense. I just don't think it can be a hero shooter in a space where like shooters, multiplayer games, like it's really tough to break out in that space in the first place. Like it's tough, man.
By the way, I also think that there's a chance that this game rips. I think that there's a chance.
Yeah.
I would say there's a non-zero chance that this game comes out and all of us. Oh, you mean Brady? We get really into it and it takes over our stream schedule for a certain time, and it's in my top 10 next year, and I'm playing it till 4 in the morning. I saw somebody like get freaking hatcheted in the dome ski while they were riding a bear. That's cool. Objectively, that's one of the coolest sentences I've ever said in my entire life. But you just can't do it with the time and place that you had. And I think that the biggest lesson is, if you are listening to this and you are in game development or you are in PR or you need to go and have people have hands on with multiplayer games, or else it will not move the needle ever. You need to be able to go and say, I played it, I did it, it was awesome. Or you have to have IP like Marvel Rivals because it's Marvel.
Right.
Other than that, it's impossible. Like, you are not going to be able to sell me on a hero shooter until I get hands on and understand how it feels, how, like, what we're doing, what's the in moment gameplay that you, me, and Brady are talking about on a podcast, being like, so then this happened and it was awesome, and then Brady went and sniped that guy, and like, this game is just bananas, but it all works and it sings, and like, you can't sell a game like this. And once again, we're playing it in 7 weeks. Awesome.
What are the odds that it was supposed to be ready day and date with the trailer?
I think it's a non-zero chance.
Like, I think if that was the case, it would be actually like, it would really help soften the blow of this being the last thing, because oftentimes when it comes to showcases, like I remember when I was a kid watching E3, you get so amped up and then you'd be like, I have nothing to play right now. Like, I just have to go back and play the game that I was already playing. It's like, I just saw the future. Now I have to go to the present. That sucks. Getting a game out there like after on the day of the showcase would have been a nice consolation to this being what it is, to just be like, okay, we have something to go play right now that's exciting, it's new, it's fresh. And I think that would have helped it a lot and taken away a lot of the negative conversation around this. There still would have been a lot of negative conversation, but like, it wouldn't be nearly as bad.
If I was immediately streaming this game last night, very different conversation in my mind. If I could have been like this on this podcast, been like, dude, it's awesome. Like, I know that we all were so deflated, almost like Night Rain, like where it's like, if you were against it, but then you got hands on and now you're all for it. It's one of your favorite games. Like, we needed to have that in the arsenal, and it's kind of bat crap crazy that they did not. That's a lesson that you learn. I think that it's a lesson that should have already been learned. Like, I'm shocked that one of these people at this team didn't sit down and be like, hey, we need to get press out here to play it. If that game's good to go by January and Jeff Keighley got to play it and everything, there should have been multiple hands on with some of the biggest streamers in the world. IGN should have been on boots on ground for this. Like, you got to go in and get some of the Avengers out there to go and play this game. And so we can have, as a consumer, an understanding being like, okay, this is deserved, because there's no other way to sell a multiplayer shooter. There just isn't. So final thoughts going through this. I feel very good with my score of a 7.5 out of 10. I feel very solid.
I think you really need to lay it out all in front of you to arrive at that score.
Yep.
Like, I think that really helps, because like you said earlier, like, you run through all these games, like there's a lot of great year. And then you also factor in that, like, if we didn't know about some of these, like, and would that have taken away, does that take away from the announcement? Like, Phantom Blade Zero showing up and getting a release date, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But we knew that was coming. But like, I don't know, like, would we have gotten out of our seats if that had shown up here? Like,
it would have been pretty exciting. I think that the Lara Croft Tomb Raiders are a big one. That I know that you, and I like that Jeff does it. Hey, I'm going to put butts in seats. I'm going to give you a couple things to headline the show that we can talk about as touchstones that you will get excited about throughout the rest of the show. You know that they're coming, but I look at that now and I'm like, there's a reason that you chose those things, because there's some of the best things that were here. Like, you can't like not have some of those touchstones. Like, even like a couple years ago, you looked at Jedi Fallen Order or Survivor, like, got pre-announced, and it was like, awesome, that's great. That means that there's better announcements than that. And it's like, I don't know, there were a handful of better announcements or surprises, but there just wasn't a ton to really catapult this year into being one of the best game awards that we've seen. Now I want to turn the tide a little bit. I want to turn the conversation, because I feel like we went into this with certain expectations. Some of them were not smart, like some of them were crazy, like Half-Life 3. Some of them were a little bit more grounded in reality of the timelines of video games being made. I want to sort of rapid fire wrapping this whole show up. It's been a longer CGC. It's been a lot of fun. But I want to go through some of these titles, and I only got a handful that I want to sort of run through. Why weren't they here? When are we going to see them? Like, are these games in trouble? Where's your head at? The first one that I have written down is AC Black Flag remake. How?
I thought this was a guarantee,
Same.
and it would have been a major headline at this show, knowing what we know now.
Yeah. Like, and I don't know if it would be a massive check either from Ubisoft when it comes to like, hey, the marketing for this game. I'm at the point that I also think that this could be shadow dropped at any moment. Like, this game feels like it
Yeah,
exists. I believe that there was
we
like
know it's
leaks
coming before
too.
March.
Yeah, there was leaks about the March thing, but then I felt like there was like Resynced or something was the name that came up on there.
Yeah,
It's like, how is this not here? Like, I really don't know. So,
could it be at the Xbox Developer Direct?
it's that or
Clearly,
Prince of
they have
Persia.
some.
Is that or Prince of
Yeah,
Persia? And
well, we know 2 games for the Developer Direct.
uh,
What if it's 2
Forza.
and 2?
Yeah, I think that this is going to be they talked about the fact that like they need more space to market in the Xbox Developer Direct, and that's why they announced it. I wouldn't be shocked if we get 2 Dev Directs or we get the longest Dev Direct ever. And like
No, I'm saying what if it's those 2 games, Forza and what was it, Fable?
Fable, yeah, they said Playground Games is going to be there, and meaning
Okay,
Forza and Fable.
Forza, Fable, and then they do 2 Ubisoft games.
I think that's going to be more than that. I wouldn't be shocked if
Okay.
it's that, but I can see them going to Ubisoft and saying, hey, we're doing this. Prince of Persia Shadow dropped, and then also here's what we're doing with Black Flag. I think that this Dev Direct is either going to be shorter, and it could be something like that with only a handful of teams, or this is basically going to be another Summer Game Fest type of moment where we get 7 announcements for dates or 7 windows with a shadow drop in there. Like this, there's so much meat on the bone for Xbox. And now let's bring it in now with Xbox. Xbox didn't show anything except for the Diablo expansion. I would say that Xbox didn't show up to the showcase. Well, I know that they did technically because they now own Blizzard, but like when we were making the bets on Xbox, I didn't think that like this counted. I'll say that once again, you guys didn't bet on it either way, so it doesn't matter at all. But like they didn't show up in my mind. Xbox did not show up to the showcase at all when it came to these dates and everything. Thank goodness we know that a Dev Direct is happening in January. Thank goodness we understand the marketing cycle of that. And yeah, I'm just dumbfounded that they didn't want to give something to this team. Like the amount of eyes.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
if you show any of those 4 games, any of the big 4, we're cooking.
I mean,
Like,
we know that Xbox is not in a great spot at the moment. Maybe they don't want to shell out the cash to be a part of this, and they have their showcase right around the corner with the Dev Direct in January. So it's like, why bother? So I can understand the logic.
yeah, it makes sense. Next up, a 2D Metroidvania God of War game.
This game doesn't fucking exist. I'm
You think it's canceled?
I firmly believe that. I'm gonna believe it until proven otherwise.
Okay.
That's just the case. That it just that this rumor is just a sick and twisted rumor that was spread and never existed,
Are we gonna
or it's
get?
canceled, or it's in development hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just gonna assume it's not happening.
Are we
I'm
gonna?
not. I gotta stop saying it's a lock. Is all I'm saying.
Are we gonna get any more PlayStation first party next year that we don't know about? Saros, Wolverine, Marathon, and Marvel Tokon are assumingly all next year. Marvel Tokon, by the way, I'm not locking that in for next year now. I felt like the fact that they weren't here with a showing of new characters and new dates and all this stuff. I know the beta happened a week ago. Yeah, I this game.
You have Evo and you have 2 state of plays before.
That's
I think this
true.
game comes out.
That's a good point. Of there's a lot of opportunity to go and drop things. I just thought that this would be one of those spots for sure.
Oh, and SGF.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
this is a September, October game, like,
yeah.
yeah, you have plenty of opportunities.
I'm not out of those 3 things though. I feel more confident that Marathon's next year than actually no. I don't want to say that because Marathon is also just in dev hell. But yeah, I'm shocked that the Metroidvania wasn't here. I do think it exists. It's either this game did exist at one point. It's either canceled or it's in trouble. One of those 2 things is for sure
Right.
currently the case because we knew it internally got delayed to 26 early this year. So it's like, yeah, this game might be a 27 game eventually, but I do think that it exists,
I,
or it will be canceled and we'll hear about it from Schreier in 6 months.
my guess is if this game still exists, it will be shown and shadow dropped. That's my prediction.
I think that if this game exists, we will see it at the February State of Play, and it will be out in May. That's my guess.
You shadow drop it in February though, then you have a good window between that
And
and
Saros
Saros.
could be the
So
case.
I don't know.
I don't want to say
That's why they push Saros. They got to get out of the way of God
God
of
of
War.
War. Moving on, Square Enix. What's happening? No 3 make, no Cage, no Dragon Quest 12.
They never learn a single lesson, seemingly. It's like, okay, we took 9 years to make Kingdom Hearts 4 and we announced it way too early. We should not learn a single lesson from that and announce Kingdom Hearts 4 way too early and do it all over again. It's like, what the fuck are they doing over there? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's super frustrating. I think Dragon Quest has a little bit of an excuse. Apparently, that game's just kind of had development troubles. And it's just kind of trucking along. It'll be shown when it's ready. So I'm giving that a bit of a pass. And also the passing of
The remake.
the creator.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
the passing of the creator
Dragon Quest, yeah.
probably affects development as well. And then the remake. I think that's the state of play thing. Like I think that it was pushing it, asking for that to be here
for sure. This was the earliest we could see it. That's what we've continuously said. This is the earliest realistic date that we could see this game, and so it's okay that it's not here because we know that like on the timeline of when this could be, it's not necessarily ready. I'm still a firm believer that I think that it's early 2027. I don't know exactly what that means for when it could be shown, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's February state of play. My big thing, by the way, is next year we have 3 state of plays most likely, right? We know the whole first party lineup for next year already. So there's got to be third party goodies inside some of these state of plays. And I would not be shocked if one of them was 3 make. And I wouldn't be shocked if one of them or some of them had Square Enix announcements as part of it. Like, I think that that's totally on the table. And like you said, Summer Game Fest, they've shown up before as Summer Game Fest in 2023. Would not be shocked if it's there too. And then lastly, I want to talk about some Nintendo. Just like no Nintendo. They showed a commercial, Dust Bloods. This is the new norm. This is the new norm that we're going to get from Nintendo. Nintendo should not be on your Summer Game Fest bingo cards. Nintendo should not be on your Game Awards bingo cards. They will be doing their own thing from now on forever with directs. They don't want to remove any fun from their announcements. We'll see you at the next Smash Bros. When we'll get DLC character reveals.
Right. I don't want to say never, but it seems unlikely at this point. I'm not going to bet on it.
Half-Life 3, Connor, does it exist, and are we playing it in the next 6 months?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll see on the pre-order date with the trailer for Half-Life 3. That's where I'm at. They're gonna drop the GameCube, and we're gonna get a date on that. We're gonna get pre-orders, and Half-Life 3 is installed on all of them, or it's on the same day. I wish that it was here. Jeff would want it to be here. That he made those phone calls and they said, no, we're just going to keep this one in house. It's a bummer. And then From Software, are we only getting Dust Bloods next year? Here's the thing. Let these people take a nap. Like, I'm concerned for their well-being at this point. Like, this is nuts. Like, it's objectively nuts with the pacing in which they release these games. So
we know they're cooking something else alongside Dusk Bloods. I think Dusk Bloods is probably first. I think that's a fair bet. So I expect they probably get Dusk Bloods out and then start the marketing push for their next game after that. You don't want to muddy the waters with 2 games at once, which they've done in the past, but I don't think you always want to do that.
Yeah, I agree to some level of just like, this is such a high pedigree team. Let them cook, and whatever they want to do with it, they can. And it is just like, it's kind of exciting to get through Game Awards where it's like, okay, we saw no From Software, we saw no major PlayStation first party get announced. Obviously, Saros was there, but nothing new. Left 4 Dead or whatever the heck it's called, 4 Loop. It exists, cool, but like nothing major there. It's like, cool. You know what that means? Game Awards next year is going to include From Software. It's going to include Kojima with OD. It's going to like. That's where we're starting to progress in my mind with some of these announcements and how the rollout is going to go for a lot of these things. It's as sad as it was that some of these things weren't here. It's like, cool, we know that they're going to be there down the line, and that's also exciting in its own right. You want to know what else is exciting, Connor? Our amazing members over on patreon.com/cope64. Real quick, though, Connor, great job getting through the show. If you have noticed, there's been probably a couple cuts due to Connor coughing. So just a heads up there, Connor, you did a great job staying on the mic and getting through this one. I'm very proud of you, man.
I apologize for the choppy production value or whatever, but we got through it. Hopefully I'm on the up and up at this point.
All right, shout out to our amazing members over on patreon.com/Cope64. I will read the highest tier. They get their name read at the end of each and every podcast we do here at Cope64. Amazing members like J Bubba,
Quiddelicious,
Silent Hills X,
Blake has a dog,
Cash R,
to boy Jake,
Jakey P,
Pigeon Power,
Library Daniel,
Tyler,
Sir Shellis,
Raincoat,
Ooh Gracie,
Chuzar,
MG Dunbar,
Mr. Munchies,
Farmer Spud,
Rocket Tater,
No Fee,
Proto Dan,
The Dankest Mike,
Swampy Bits,
Tristan C,
Gonzi C,
Striking 1978,
Tenchuru,
Hook'em Horns,
Gonash,
Neutral Sphere,
Easton C,
Kingdom Hearts Rules,
Doobie Doobie,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
Uli,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Metal Nate,
Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Cowboy Jesus,
Mega,
Yogi,
Dom,
Holden M,
Colin C,
Brack,
Voodoo,
Milky Sins,
Alex the Golden,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Cannon Fodder Games,
Only One Rufus,
JMAP B3,
Ali Benali,
Michael.
and Kingdom Hearts Sucks.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Casual Gaming News Conversation. We will see you in the next one. Peace out.